Alright, so hello here. So I'm going to show you kind of how to use Desmos. So now there's a few basic things I need to kind of show how to set up here. So this right here is you can hear this here, you can see all of your stored graphs. You can change the thing, you can filter them by tool, you can look at examples, and even new graph here, you can even do this here. This, I'm not too familiar with, but you can look at there. Now, this right here is kind of like the main thing. Add item. This is very important to know. By default, you'll have expressions, but you can also have these things here. This is just thing you can like write down and not forget. This is just table interface. This is for like statistic stuff. Folder, just folder, and image, just image. Now, when you click here, if you have like a blank thing, you can like move down and it'll do this here. Now you'll notice this blue button will have save. We'll come back to that. And then you can actually click here, and you actually click this here to create multiple, I guess, expressions here. It'll create only expressions though. If you try to add a table, insert table, and one with stuff inside, or even one that doesn't have stuff inside, it'll automatically create another of these sort of tabs. Now, if you look here, you'll also notice there's this thing that says show keypad. This is going to be very important here. So, you do need to treat capitalized letters of their counterparts as separate letters from their non-capitalized counterparts. That is very important, and it will become important later. Now, part of what makes Desmos really powerful is automation. It's auto calculation, I should say. Adaptive calculation, I'm not sure what you'd call it, but regardless of which way you perceive it, you can change. So let's just say we have like some letters here, right? We'll just get L for length, W for width, and then you can also use the keyboard for these, by the way. I'm probably going to mainly be doing that just because it's going to be easier for me here. And then just D for displacement. And then we'll also put E, and then what we can do here, we want a subscript for this. So what we'll do here is you'll see this A to the B. By default, when you pull a keypad, it'll be this menu. But if it's not, you can always click this to swap between them. This is going to make it capitalized letters. You'll click this. This is going to do a subscript. And we'll put like, I guess, you can hit shift. I guess you can hit shift. You can shift here. Why it was working there, but not. But oh well. And now important thing to know, when you're in this state here, if you keep typing, you don't want to keep typing yet because it's going to, equal sign gets forced up for some reason, but this is going to stay down here. You don't necessarily want that. So to prevent that from happening, you can either hit like up, or you can hit right. Both of them will fix it. Similarly, if you did want to add more here, but you accidentally went here, you can either move it, you can move it down. Or alternatively, you can just click like right after the M. This does work even if there's other stuff involved. So for instance, if I just put that real quick just for the sake of this, or I guess just put the number here, so just put here. It'll work still here. You can do this here. And clicking will still work. You just gotta move it a little lower. Now, this similar rule will apply to exponents. So just keep that in mind. In fact, exponents might even be able to. Yeah, no, the equal sign gets forced. So you can't have like an equation like exponent, but you can have like an expression exponent. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Now, if you look on your keypad here for the exponents here, we should mention this here. A squared is, it'll just, if you have a number here, it'll automatically square it. If you hit this button instead, it'll just raise it, and then you could put like some other number to be its power, and it will do that. And again, like if you don't want to keep adding the stuff here, You gotta hit like the down, you gotta hit like, you can even hit, in this case, hit down because it's like you're moving down the level. So hitting right will also work. Now in this case, if you hit left here, it will take you back here. I wouldn't quite rely on that. And of course, the similar rule about clicking the stuff does apply all here. Now, what's really powerful about this automation here, now I just want to get that. Now that we're clear on that, the automation here, you can set like variables to be equal to stuff. And then we can actually do here, so put A equals LW. And then we will have MO here. So we'll have O is, and then you can even just put equal to save a little time. And we could put this is equal to L, or I guess we could put A, put this here. And then we will put D. And it will actually multiply all these here. So let's just say if we put length of 60, I guess we could just put 100 for the sake of this, and then we'll put 200 for the width. You'll see it solves the area as 28,000. Because that it multiplies them automatically for itself. And then we could say put this for 60, and then it'll actually, once you have all the variables, it'll automatically solve it for you. So you can see here it puts 2.4 times 10 to the 26, so it auto solved it for us. Now with log here, this is kind of where we can get fancy here. So we can put 0.69 log. Now 10 is the default. If you want to change the base, you could do the similar thing of just going over here and like put your variable choice. If it's doing this where it's sort of like stuck, just hit backspace and it will fix it. Or you can alternatively hit this button right here, that one with like a trap sort of hexagon with the X in it. And then what you will want to do is make sure you have extra parentheses here. And then inside of it, you're going to put this mo. And then we can put minus 6.4, and that will give us that. And then alternatively, we can have this to be we can have MW equals this. And there you go, it tells us MW. And then you can change it. So if I change this to 20, you can see the number, all the numbers that were affected by it shift as a result. And just to really show you, I can go over here to put log 10. The number didn't change from when I got rid of this here. Didn't change at all. I put this here. Again, thing changes. This isn't as noticeable. You're not going to really notice it as much here because of how the log works. But you can see that. I guess let me put a change here. That's. You see how now the area really changes here because of the width. Now, alternatively, you know, say it's save. Now, if your thing is titled like, if you haven't named a graph before, it's gonna pop this up. You can just put your name, put earthquake, and just name it that. For the sake of this here. Now, what this is gonna do is it's gonna create a master copy. And what's really valuable about this master copy is that you can actually share it. You can share a graph here. You can either do it by like taking this link here, or you can copy it from here. And then basically you could put this as like a URL someone else can access. And then they can access a copy. And then what's going to happen is if they go on that link, they're going to create a sub copy of it. Now the thing with a sub copy is that it's not going to change it on the master copy. But if you change something on the master copy, it will, and then they copy a link afterwards, that change will be there. Hence the master and master copy. Now if you click here, the Desmos logo is just going to open another tab, and yeah. Now here you have more options. You can either This thing right here, this double arrow says collapse. You can hide the expression list. And then edit list. So you can go over here, you can delete all, done, this here. Control Z, Control Y. And then here, you also have this option here, so you can either rename it or you can even duplicate it. And then here, you actually have this folder, which you can also use Control O, and basically you can see all of your earthquakes and then just examples, stuff like that. And just click here by default, this will create a new graph, or you can look here and see that as well. Now, you can also do like share a snapshot, export image, or print. I'm not familiar with those. That's probably not going to help us much. This right here is like if you need help, you can take a tour. This here is for languages. This is going to show other tools, so there's like other Desmos stuff. And again, important thing with Desmos, it's all free, which is nice. This graph settings is going to basically edit graph. You can even add like labels here. So if I want to put like some label here, like I just put, I guess, money and percent, you can do that. You can also like enable complex mode, and there's just a lot of things to play with. You can like make it like zoom in sort of. You can change the grid, real, contrast, all that stuff here. Step is basically like the axis length. So if I put this as 5, the y-axis, you notice it's fixed to only being in increments of 5 now. And what's also cool about this is that if you go to a certain point, you save the change, and you copy the link, in that copied link state, it will show you loaded on the subcopy at that point, which can be helpful as well. Now also here, there's also these little buttons on the left and right here. So if there's a home, this default viewpoint, basically it's going to take you back to the origin essentially. Unless if it's like a subcopy, then it might be different, but it'll take you back to the origin, zoomed here at this like ratio right here. This is zoom out, this is zoom in. And then here you can see your account settings. You can look, you can scroll down. And I think that's everything here that at least will help. Alright, so there we go. There's the Desmos tutorial. Just hit save. If you try to exit or refresh with unsaved changes, it will prompt you, just so you know. It does not manually, it does not autosave. It's very important to remember, it does not autosave, so that's very important. And if you want to do all these like save and share and stuff, you do have to sign into Desmos, just so you know, just so that's clear. Alright, well, there we go. That should be everything here. And then you can always hit duplicate, and yeah, there you go. So if you want to just rename it. There. See? There you go.